welcoming back a true legend. He produced or engineered Slayer, Armored Saint, Trouble, Flotsam and Jetsam, Fate's Warning, and like 10 million others. Bill Metoyer, how are you, sir?
And all because of Mr. Brian Slagle. I'm okay, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all
Hi,
right.
everybody out there.
There you go. So we're talking about Metallica, first ever Metallica song that ended up being on the first Metal Massacre. When was the first time that you discovered Metallica?
Oh, the first time I discovered Metallica was because of this guy named Brian Slagle. I mean, he put out this compilation record, and it had this band Metallica, who I had never heard of before, on the record.
Did you get to see them when they played around LA? I can't remember.
Not really, no. I was too busy hanging out with my friends, playing street hockey and going around our neighborhood, uh, doing bad things way back then.
Hold on. Kristen, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have been on. So what happened is I almost dropped my laptop, and when I caught it, I must have jumped in. I'm so sorry. I had no idea I was on with you guys.
Yeah, I heard all this banging
okay.
and stuff
Yep.
in the background.
No. I was this close to dropping my laptop and it's smashing on the floor. So
right,
sorry about
We'll try it again.
No
All right,
problem.
try it again. So did you ever get to see Metallica when they're playing around LA? I can't remember if you did or not.
No, I don't think I really didn't, because back then, even though I was part of the metal scene, I was too busy hanging out with my friends, playing street hockey, terrorizing our neighborhoods all the time. So, no, I think Metallica was one of the ones that I missed in the very early days. I mean, even though some of the bands that I worked on with you would play with them, no, I never really got to see them in the early days of LA.
Yeah, I thought, because I know, well, in addition to terrorizing everybody playing hockey, which I can attest to, I know obviously, working in the studio usually at night precludes that as well. So I need some technical help here from you, so we can save people going to Google to figure these things out.
What?
So the first ever recording of Hit the Lights, which ended up on the original Metal Massacre, was recorded on a Fostex tape recorder. Can you explain to people what a Fostex tape recorder is or was?
No, to be honest with you. But I mean, tape. Just about everything that we used back then was tape. Okay. But there used to be there was a 24-track machine. You could put 24 different tracks on there. A 16-track tape machine, 8-track machine, 4-track, and there was a machine that just recorded stereo. I'm not sure which one of those they used.
I believe it was the 4-track Fostex.
4-track.
But of course, it was recorded on a cassette, which we will talk about with Mr. John Cornaren shortly, because that's quite the story as well. But it was a cassette tape. I believe it was a 4-track Fostex.
Wow, that is amazing. And what the thing that I'm curious about is, obviously you were one of the first people to ever hear this song, and I'm just wondering, what is it about the song that grabbed you? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not just because Lars was your friend or anything. I mean, there had to be something.
Yeah, well, and we'll get into the story a lot more with John coming up. But I didn't hear that song until I got the actual album.
Really?
He brought it so late, and they had to bump it up from. They didn't have anything to play it on. They had to bump it up from the cassette to a 1/4-inch tape to be able to master it. So I didn't even hear it until I got the record. So I didn't know if it was good, bad, horrible. I had no idea what to expect. And it was quite surprising, actually, because I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I didn't, I knew Lars obviously, but that was it. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be. But it was like, I mean, look, all those tracks on that record were pretty primitive, going back in time. But it actually was not too bad. Now, would I have guessed then that they were becoming one of the biggest, if not the biggest, heavy metal band of all time. No, not on that initial tape, but yeah, but I mean, it was what it was. I was just happy that we had enough songs to make a record at that point.
You didn't have to kick anybody off to put them on at the last minute like that?
No, in fact, when Lars asked me about that, I just told him yes. I didn't really care what it was because I just needed another track. And if you notice on that original Metal Massacre, there's 2 Malice songs because we needed an extra song because I couldn't find enough bands. And Motley Crue, who was supposed to be on it originally, they dropped off, obviously, because the record had come out at that point. And, I got them with Green World, our distributor, and they started to take off. So it wasn't really a need for them to be on there. And I didn't really wasn't able to get another band on there until, later when Steeler fell off. And then we got Black and Blue on the later versions.
But the song actually surprised you, huh? You didn't know.
Well, I had no idea I had no idea what it was going to be. It could have been a complete train wreck for all I knew. But I was like, oh wow, okay, it's not too bad. It was, and I knew it was a Fostex recording, so I didn't expect that it was going to be spectacular. But it wasn't bad. It was like it's a decent song. I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad at all. Again, I wouldn't have predicted that they would become so massively huge, but it worked, and it started their career, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's like the best Metallica song ever, but it was their first song. So how can you not have Metallica's first ever song on a list of 100 best?
Yeah, I mean, it launched their career, and of course, there's several versions of it. There's obviously this original one, which was just Lars James, who played all the guitars and the bass, and then their friend Lloyd Grant, who played the lead on the very original version. Then, when we reissued Metal Massacre, by then the actual demo had surfaced, and we used that version of it, which kind of to me is of the 3, let's say, because there's the demo and then obviously the Kill 'Em All version. I kind of like the No Life Till Leather version the best of all 3 of those, just in terms of the sound and also just the performance itself.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. But the other thing that is pretty amazing about just that song is that it's the only song that every member of Metallica has played. Did you know that part? I mean,
no.
Yeah, I mean, McGovney played live. McGovney played on it live. Lloyd Grant, Mustaine, everybody that has been in Metallica has played that song live. So that
makes sense. I mean, they don't have a long list of band members, obviously, but aside from the bass players, I guess. But that's interesting. Yeah, it makes sense because obviously, like you said, McGovney was in the band at first, and then obviously Cliff played it, and Mustaine was in it early as well. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, a little bit of obscure Metallica trivia by Bill Metoyer here. Thank you.
There you go. Had to find something to talk about.
When you first heard the demo, which obviously was the second version that ended up on the second version of Metal Massacre, what were your thoughts on that? Because I was pretty blown away by how good it was.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I mean, it's obviously a band that was influenced by the new wave of British heavy metal. That's for sure. And it was one of the first songs that I heard from a local band that was playing music like that here in LA, to be honest with you. So yeah, I was surprised. Made you want to hear more from them, that's for sure.
Did they ever talk to you about doing anything with them? Because I know they were running around trying to get something done because they obviously asked me, and I didn't have any money, so there's no way I could pay for anything. So I know they talked to somebody. I forget what the guy's name was, but he's like, yeah, we can make a record for $10,000. I'm like, I don't have $1,000, let alone $10,000.
Well, it sure as hell wasn't me, especially in my wet dreams.
It wasn't you, but did they ever talk to you about doing something, recording with them?
No, they never have, Brian. I'm kind of hurt from that, but No,
Well,
unfortunately.
see, if you would have gone to see them, maybe,
Yeah.
that would have been a whole other story.
Instead of knocking down mailboxes with baseball bats, like I was probably doing at the time. So yeah, I missed out on that one. That would have been awesome to work with those guys.
Yeah, it was an interesting time back then. I can't remember when talking to them early on, if your name came up or not, because you were really the guy in LA in the early 80s. I mean, obviously you did, pretty much all the Metal Blade stuff, and, any metal band back then that was heavy was like, well, let's just go get Bill Metoyer to do it.
Well, yeah, but that was after Metal Massacre 1, really.
Yeah.
It had to be. So,
But, Armored Saint obviously did the EP with you, and they were, they were probably the closest band to Metallica
yeah,
back before they moved to San Francisco.
exactly. They were all friends, and I'm still blown away that how I didn't see Metallica live when they were always around the Armored Saint guys. So
Yeah, and they played a couple shows together. Well,
yeah,
you see, being a juvenile delinquent did not
no,
help you out there.
did not help me working with Metallica. That's for sure. But
All right, sir. Well, it's always fun to have you on. Appreciate all of the knowledge and words and a little bit of trivia there too. So thanks as always.
thank you for having me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Always good to see you.
Yes, same here. And of course,